Thanks a lot for putting the show on. I've been 3 years in a row, really good. I want to ask you, because I'm also in business, how many days off do you take in a year?
Did he say something? I didn't hear that. Did he say something? Did you say days off?
Yes.
Sorry, I didn't understand that. Next question.
You don't take days off?
I don't take days off. Look, I can't tell you that. I do go on holidays now and then. I have. But there's not a single day that I'm not working.
Yeah.
I can't. Unless I'm in... I have sometimes, if I've been on a boat in the middle of the Caribbean, which I have, then I've got no internet, I can't do anything, then I have disconnected for a few days. But I don't normally take any time off.
But doesn't it just sort of wind you up that you're continuously not switching off and that you feel that maybe sometimes you need to switch off to make yourself more effective? So it's like a planned break to make yourself better when you go back on a Monday.
You know what? One of the things that I've started doing in these last few years is really... so with my book, which I wrote, is based on the fact of asking myself empowering questions. And one of the things that I knew that I wasn't doing wasn't necessarily taking care of myself. How many of us know that we've got to do something different, either from an exercise point of view, nutritional point of view? We know it, but we keep procrastinating. Well, I've been doing that for a long time. I've had so many people come up to me and say, oh, Bernardo, you've lost weight. But the fact is I started eating differently. I started exercising differently. I started doing things differently than I never used to do before. So my mind, I feel clearer than I've felt in so many years. But if you're doing something that you love, if you're doing something that you're extremely passionate about, you're not working. So I'm not working, you see. I'm stressed sometimes because my passion, can become challenging at some points. But I don't feel that I'm working. I love what I'm doing.
But there must be, last part of the question, there must be some small little task that you think, I don't like doing this. Maybe in the office until 1 o'clock in the morning, nobody's there and you haven't slept for 2-3 days in the run up to the exhibition. That kind of stuff, all the pressure, all the stress.
One of the things that I do, for me as a hobby, is one of the things that I do love doing is I ride motorcycles, okay? So at least, if I can, once a year, because I've been a bike rider since I'm 15, so I love being able to put on a helmet, no one can call me, no one, and I'm in my thoughts. So I've done South Africa, I've done LA, US, I've done all around Europe, so that disconnects me. It's just being able to spend some time thinking, that's how I do it. So what I do too is that sometimes I just sit down and I just simply start thinking about things. I turn my phone off and I just focus on what is it I'm trying to do or what challenges am I having. I ask myself empowering questions and I start finding solutions.
Hi, Bernardo. We run a website, both personally and professionally. What can we do to help get your message out of the best you, to spread the message of the best you out?
Well, listen, I'm extremely grateful to you guys being here. So obviously, if you go home, I would love to get a little thank you message in the shape of a testimonial, because that helps me. I am also very grateful if you could go and tell your friends that you were here. I would be very grateful if you would book and come next year and you bring your friends with you, if you have some friends remaining after I told you to dump all your friends. But look, these events, if you realize, and I don't know how many of you have actually come here for free? Okay, well, quite a few of you. And quite a few people have paid. But, I've built this show on not charging people to attend these events. Now, obviously, as you can imagine, the only thing I get for free from Olympia is the air. Because it's polluted and from London.
And
because they can't... What?
And the pigeons.
And the pigeons. We get 2 pigeons included. That's the only thing we get for free. This is a production that costs around £500,000 to £600,000. It's a big production. So how do I get that? Well, I only get it. So if you guys are interested in speaking and exhibiting, obviously that would help me. If you guys want to get involved in speaking, exhibiting, and sharing and sponsoring the event in the future, that would help me. I would like, as I said, to have these expos. I want it to become bigger. Buy my books. Thank you so much. Thank you. I'm very grateful. I knew I sold 1 book this weekend. Thank you. So thank you.
Question down here.
Hi, Bernardo. In your journey to the person you are today, who are your mentors and who inspired you?
Yeah, I think I mentioned that. For me, it's been a lot of what I've read. So I'm a little bit older. Yes, you might not believe it, but so I had the tapes. Remember tapes? Yeah. So I used to listen to Jim Rohn. I love Jim Rohn. I still love him. No, you remember Jim Rohn? I love Jim Rohn. Brian Tracy. So, you know, they felt a part of my life, you know. Les Brown. I did an awards ceremony last night in recognition to the biggest 12 awards we gave, and the Lifetime Achievement was to Les Brown. Les Brown sent me a message thanking me. I shared the stage with Les Brown in New York. So, you know, these are just things that is unbelievable from me 10 years ago, being completely broke, you know. So reading, engaging with these speakers who I felt part of my life has been something tremendously inspiring. But obviously, listen, NLP has been a big impact in my life personally. And obviously the work of Dr. Richard Bandler and working with him, and Paul McKenna, obviously. Thank you.
Question down here.
Tony Robbins as well. I mean, listen, I've listened to a lot of tapes, but I can't tell you that I haven't been one of those that's done 16 UPWs, you know. But I've obviously done training. I'm a massive fan of Tony Robbins, completely respect. But listen, I have read them all. You know, I've engaged with so many great speakers.
Question down here.
In Spanish, thank you. Y muchísimas gracias por inspirar a tanta gente, de verdad.
Te lo agradezco a ti, muchísimas gracias. ¿De dónde eres?
Dominican Republic and Spain. So
Muy bien, muchas
I
gracias.
am half and half. Just a quick question. In one word, how you can define the key word for people who are losing the hope? There are so many people now that they are losing the hope. Thank you.
Thank you. It's tough. It's tough for a lot of people. It really is. I get it. And I think surrounding yourself with you know, like-minded individuals, attending events like this, you know, really seeing the possibilities of where you're going is ultimately it. My conclusion, and I'm not going to share too much, but I'm going to be sharing that in my talk in a little while, but my conclusion with 50 years on the planet, 30-odd years as an entrepreneur, and 10, 12 years in the forefront of, you know, personal development, personally and professionally, it is really down to start focusing more on what my legacy is and me finding my true purpose. Okay? I think what happens is a lot of people read books. We read books, we attend these sort of seminars, these courses, we go and we do this, we do that, but then we don't do anything necessarily with it, obviously, because, you know, hey, I've got to work. But I'm asking you, do you think that you personally deserve one day a month to work on yourself? How many of you do think so? Okay, how many of you, oh great. How many of you actually do that? Okay, more or less the same, a little few less. And the rest of others don't. Now we send our car to the garage every 6 months. We update our phone every month, or when Apple tells us to. Everything that we need to do that we don't necessarily need to do, we do because we want to do it, because we want to, you know, we're trying to follow a trend, but we don't necessarily spend enough time. I haven't met anyone that is extremely successful, that is extremely happy with their life, focused, driven, that are achieving greatness that we look up to, that haven't got a true purpose, okay? So I think if you find what your purpose is, and that's the key, then all of a sudden everything starts falling into place. Then all of a sudden you're hopeful of being able to do whatever it is that you want to do, to achieve whatever it is that you want to achieve. And the challenge is that we don't spend enough time on thinking about what we're thinking about. So the moment you start doing that, you become more hopeful, and then hopefully, you know, we will find our purpose, and then all of a sudden your life will change. We're just lost, I think. People just lost. People, what am I doing? I didn't know I was going to end up selling real estate. I wanted to be a pilot. You know, that's what happened to me. I wanted to be a pilot. I ended up selling real estate. I was shit at it. Sorry, excuse me. I lost my money twice. How did I know I was going to be in this? I had no idea, but here I am now. Open. Be open. Thank you.
Question down there. Just one or two more questions, and then we have to get on with Bernardo's talk. Yes?
Thank you so much.
Hello, thank you for your talk.
Thank you.
I grew up in Colombia.
Okay, otra, colombiana.
Colombiana.
Muy bien.
And I was exposed to the first talk on mental power by my dad. My dad took me along, and I was 12. And it was this speaker from Spain who will come every year. And I think that changed my life since very early age, and probably even before, because he was always reading books about mental power and all this. So I just want to ask you, and you mentioned when you were interviewed about families, children, to be brought to the best of you and to be more involved and then make it more serious about learning about all these powerful tools for life.
Absolutely. Great question. One of the things that I'm doing now, I mentioned before, which I'm extremely excited about, is these legacy clubs. So what we do is we focus on legacy. We get together and we talk about what's your legacy, what are we here for, how do you want to make a difference, you know, and then we help each other, support each other, and we help people find their legacy. And there was a moment when, in one of the tables, this guy who I know very well, all of a sudden got kind of really quite white and saddened because he didn't believe he had a legacy. And then within the room, we made them, man, you have 2 beautiful children. You have 2 phenomenal children. If you can teach your kids, if you can inspire your kids, if your kids can look up to you and think, oh my God, look at what my dad's doing. That's how it starts. We all need to have that seed. It happened to you. We need to be who our dog thinks we are. Does that make sense? You know when you walk into the room and the dog just loves you like he hasn't seen you in like a million years? That's what we want to do. We want our kids to look up and say, wow, is he crazy or what? But look at what he's doing. He's amazing. So we need to plant the seeds because that's our legacy. Our legacy is that we can teach our kids, we can inspire our kids to be able to go out there and to go and make a difference. So yes, it's our obligation, it really is. And we don't really appreciate and understand that. But they look up to us. So bringing these books, bringing them to the talks, and as I said, I'm sure you've seen there's loads of kids here. And there's loads of families here. We've got the Ben, what's the name of the family? I can't remember the name of the surname. But anyway, it's a family of 5. They're all speaking here, from 12-year-old to 4-year-old. I think it's 5 now. Sami. So the little one came to me in the EXPO last year, down there in the hall, and he said to me, he's 4. He says, I want to speak at your EXPO next year. And I was just cracking up laughing. What are you going to be talking about? And he was just literally, he just talked to me with these big eyes and he said, we're going to be talking about mindfulness. And I just looked at him and I thought, oh my God, he's absolutely amazing. So I got on my knees and I said, well, you're my first confirmed speaker for 2020. So I did that room, The Best Youth, with the intention of having speakers and having educators, you know, to come and share their message and share their ideas. So we're still working on that, but I want that to happen, and we need to be bringing. And I am actually launching in the US. I'm quite excited about this, called the Best Youth Expo. So it's all about millennials, and it's under 15, 16-year-olds. We'll let the parents in. But it's about creating a small little mini show with 2, 3 rooms. So I'm very excited about that. Thank you. We cool? One more?
You want one more?
Or shall we start?
Huh?
Shall we start?
I think we should start. Do you want one more question?
Okay, one more
and then
question,
we'll
and
start,
I'm gonna
because
start.
that
Thank you.
gentleman's had his hand up for a while. So one more question, and then we will start.
Over the time that you have built the Best You Expo, what have been your biggest 3 challenges that you had to overcome?
My biggest 93 challenges, did you say? 3?
Biggest 3.
I wish. I don't know. It's sometimes when I believe we have to trust, and I'm not. I've got to say, I'm not tremendously spiritual. I believe in the universe. I believe that we get messages. I am a massive believer on serendipity. Nothing happens for no reason. Who believes in that? We meet, we connect, we read, we bump into someone, we see something. It's for a reason. It absolutely is for a reason. So I'm a great believer in serendipity. So I think we are where we are, or we're going where we're going because it's meant to be. And I think you just have to follow your dream. But follow your dream, obviously, you know, understanding that it is the bottom line, that, you know, it has to be financially viable. But I think when you've given it your 100%, then, you know, then that's it. So my challenge has been pretty much a lot of the times is being ahead of the game, you know? But I would rather be ahead of the game. When I had my real estate agency in Spain, there was only 2 real estates in the world. It was Foxton's and mine, doing video presentations online, which, you know, videos are current now. And I had it in 3 languages, Spanish, English, and Russian. So, you know, I think you've got to be ahead of you have to be ahead of the game. You have to be prepared to take chances. You have to look at what other people aren't looking at and thinking out of the box. And the word leader and visionary was difficult for me, but I'm absolutely a leader because pretty much I've had a lot of people following me and following what I'm doing. But then apart from that, I'm extremely visual. I see everything in my mind. So you don't have to be scared of that. You know, you just have to go for it. If you believe in it, just go for it.
Well done, thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay.